Vietnam Weekly News Highlights. Vietnamese overseas investment soars by 35.1% over 10 months. Vietnam's 10-month export value up 16.6%. Vietnam calls for investment in 157 projects during 2021-2025. Inflation rate lowest in 5 years. Vietnam Airlines meets requirements to operate regular direct flights to U.S. North-South high-speed rail construction to begin in 2028. 2.2 trillion VND project proposed to improve railway connections with China. For countries recognize Vietnam's vaccine passport. Vietnamese overseas investment during the past 10 months of the year surged by 35.1% to reach $646 million compared to the same period from last year, according to figures recently released by the General Statistics Office. A total of 48 new projects received investment certificates, with a total registered capital of $218.3 million. In addition, an additional $427.7 million was pumped into 18 existing projects, representing a 2.6-fold rise year-on-year. The United States remained as the top destination for Vietnamese capital throughout the reviewed period with nearly $305.3 million, followed by Cambodia with roughly $89.4 million, Israel $66.6 million, and Laos over $47.8 million. The majority of the capital outflow was poured into science and technology, accounting for 41.9% of the total, trailed by the wholesale and retail, agroforestry and fisheries, and manufacturing and processing industries. As of October 20th, Vietnam had 1,435 valid overseas investment projects with a total investment capital of approximately $21.9 billion. Vietnam's export turnover is estimated at $27.3 billion in October, bringing the figure in the first 10 months of 2021 to $267.9 billion, up 16.6% against the same period last year, the General Statistics Office announced on October 29. In the period, there are 31 commodities with export turnover of over $1 billion, accounting for 92.4% of the total export value. 6 commodities joined the $10 billion export club, with their combined export value accounting for 63% of the total. The export turnover of the manufacturing and processing sector, fuel and minerals, and agricultural and forestry products are estimated at $238.8 billion, $3.03 billion, and $19.2 billion, up 17.3%, 16.6% and 15.1% year-on-year, respectively. During January-October, the U.S. was Vietnam's largest export market, with a turnover of $76 billion, up 21.9% over the same period last year. It was followed by China with $44.2 billion, up 16.8%, the EU with $31.7 billion, up 8.9%, and the ASEAN market with $23 billion, up 21.3%. Vietnam is calling for foreign investment in 157 projects in the 2021 to 2025 period, according to a decision recently signed by Deputy Prime Minister Pham Binh Minh. The projects are in various fields, including transport infrastructure, industrial and economic zone facilities, information technology infrastructure, waste and wastewater treatment, education and health, culture, sports, tourism, agroforestry, fishery, production and services. An upturn was recorded in both value of investment in new projects, as well as additional capital in existing ones. Specifically, $12.5 billion was poured into 2,212 newly licensed projects, up 20.6% over the same period last year, while $6.4 billion was added into underway projects, a rise of 25.6%. Another spotlight, Vietnam was named among the world's top 20 host economies for foreign direct investment for the first time in 2020 with an inflow of $16 billion. Vietnam's inflation rate in the first 10 months was 1.81%, the lowest since 2016. In October alone, inflation fell 0.2% from September, as lifted restrictions in localities help boost goods transport and reduce stockpiling demand, General Statistics Office reported. Demand for electricity and water also fell as the country transitioned from summer to fall, while decreasing rents also contributed to lower inflation, it added. Gold prices fell 0.21% from September as global rates dropped. Vietnam targets to keep inflation rise under 4% this year. The U.S. Transportation Security Administration has officially confirmed that Vietnam Airlines meets all security requirements to operate regular commercial direct flights to the U.S. from October 25, the national flag carrier announced on November 1. With this development, Vietnam Airlines has become the first Vietnamese airline to be allowed to operate regular direct flights to the U.S. The country with the most stringent legal procedures and aviation security regulations in the world. This is one of the most complex and important conditions that foreign airlines need to meet in order to be licensed by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration to operate direct flights to this country. The Ministry of Transport plans to begin construction of the high-speed North-South Railroad, a key public transport project connecting Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, in 2028. It is awaiting approval from the Communist Party Politburo and the National Assembly, Minister of Transport Nguyen Van the said at a meeting Monday. It will begin with the construction of the sections from Hanoi to Vinh and from Ho Chi Minh City to Nha Trang at a total cost of VND 112 trillion, $4.93 billion. When the 1.435-meter gauge route is complete, the existing 1-meter gauge tracks will be used exclusively for cargo transport. It will be a key transport project of the future, and provinces need to cooperate with the ministry to develop urban areas along the route. Vietnam has a narrow track gauge railway, while China has switched to broad gauge 1 with only short sections, in some border provinces still using narrow gauge tracks. This means Vietnamese trains from Lao Cai Station can only reach North Hika Station at the farthest in China. As a result, goods will have to be unloaded from Vietnamese trains to be reloaded onto another train to be transported on China's railway system. Chinese trains cannot run to Vietnam for goods loading, either. This technical problem has pushed up the transport cost and prevent railway transport from meeting demand for goods transport from Lao Cai border gate to Hai Phong City, which is predicted to reach over 3 million tons per year in the time to come. The Vietnam Railway Project Management Board, under the Ministry of Transport, has submitted to the ministry a project with total investment of over VND 2.2 trillion, $95.88 million to improve railway connections between Vietnam's Lao Cai Station and China's North Hika Station. The investment of the project is expected to come from the state budget for the middle-term public investment plan for the 2021 to 2025 period. The US, the UK, Japan and Belarus have officially accepted Vietnam's vaccine passport, while others are waiting for the country to use a consistent template. The 4 countries made their decisions early November, with specific certifications regarding the vaccine types. India has also agreed in principle, while China, South Korea, and countries in ASEAN and the European Union are in the process of reviewing and waiting for Vietnam to come up with a consistent vaccine passport template. The Foreign Ministry is discussing ways to accelerate mutual recognition of each other's vaccine passports with around 80 partner countries. Pham Thursday Hang, deputy spokeswoman of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, said at a press meet Thursday. Hanoi Weekly News Highlights. Hanoi gets country's first metro service. 57 FDI projects worth $34 million licensed in Hanoi. Hanoi's economy improves as safe adaptation plan gathers pace. Metro Nhon Hanoi Station runs the elevated section by the end of 2022. The Cat Linh Ha Dong Metro line in Hanoi began commercial operations Saturday morning, 10 years after its construction began. The service, Vietnam's first, would help increase the number of public transport users, and together with the 9 other routes planned, form a key transport network to help reduce traffic congestion, the city deputy chairman, Duong Duc Tuan, said. The first train left Cat Linh Station in downtown Dong Da District at 7:40 a.m. for Yen Nia Station in Ha Dong District to the southwest. A full trip on the 13-kilometer elevated track will take 23 minutes after stopping at all 12 stations. The capital licensed 57 new FDI projects, with a total registered capital of $34 million throughout October, according to figures released by the Hanoi Statistics Office. Of the figure, 7 projects were permitted to raise capital to $112.6 million, while a further $113 million was poured into capital contribution and share purchases made by foreign investors. During the 10-month period, Hanoi attracted $1.2 billion in FDI with 256 new projects. Of the figure, $605 million was added to 100 existing projects, while $411 million was also poured into capital contribution and share purchases made by foreign investors. Hanoi's economic performance is gradually improving as the city accelerates plan to ensure safe and flexible adaptation to the COVID-19 pandemic for gradually reopening of economic activities. In October, revenue from retail sales and services surged by nearly 60% against the previous month to VND 56 trillion, $2.4 billion, of which retail revenue rose by 25.5% to VND 32.3 trillion, $1.4 billion, hospitality and catering services to VND 5.3 trillion, $231 million, 2.1-fold increase against September. Since October 14, Hanoi's authorities have allowed the resumption of transportation activities after nearly 3 months of suspension. So far, the number of passengers reached 4.6 million, down 77.7% year-on-year, while freight transport stood at 72.2 million tons, up 30% against last month. State budget revenue in the January-October period was estimated at VND 16.9 trillion, $9.45 billion, or 92.1% of the year's estimate, and up 8.7% year-on-year. On the afternoon of November 5, the Hanoi Urban Railway Management Board said that the pilot urban railway project of Hanoi City has implemented 10 of the 10 main bidding packages. The overall progress is about 74%, the elevated section is 89.5%, the underground section is 32.2%. The progress of the whole non-railway project Hanoi Station reached 74%, of which the 8.5 kilometers long elevated section from Non Depot to S8 Station, section of the University of Transport and Communications, reached nearly 90%, expected to operate in December 2022. For the underground section, for kilometers, from S9 Station, Old Nok Kon parking lot, to S12 Station, in front of Hanoi Station, the MRB did not provide information about the completion time.
Ho Chi Minh Weekly News Highlights.
Proposal to shorten time for calculating land use fee. Ho Chi Minh City breaks ground on housing project for 3,000 workers. Long Thanh International Airport must be completed by 2025. Ho Chi Minh City foreign trade makes sharp recovery. 95% of businesses at Ho Chi Minh City's industrial parks resume operations. Ho Chi Minh City offers financial support package for businesses. The Ho Chi Minh City Land Price Appraisal Council said that there was a Notice 139, agreeing the City People's Committee's draft of proposing the Prime Minister to approve to build an appropriate land price adjustment coefficient, in accordance with the actual situation in the area to submit to the People's Council for approval. Accordingly, the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City will issue a land price adjustment coefficient to calculate land use fees and land rents for all land plots and parcels, instead of having to hire a consultant to determine the specific land price according to valuation methods. Ho Chi Minh City Real Estate Association, HOREA, expressed support for this proposal. If allowed by the government to implement, instead of taking 3 years to carry out procedures for determining and appraising land prices and calculating land use fees, the city will submit a shortened solution to 10 to 15 days. This will be a breakthrough change when it is allowed to apply the land price adjustment method to calculate land use fees and land rents for all real estate projects and commercial housing projects. A social housing project to build 1,000 low-priced homes for around 3,000 workers began construction in Ho Chi Minh City's Thursday Duc City Saturday. Hong Tung, chairman of the Thursday Duc People's Committee, said the project would have an area of 20,800 square meters, about one-fifth of which would be dedicated to greenery. The VND $1.2 trillion, $52.3 million project is expected to be completed by the end of 2024. Workers would be encouraged and supported to buy or rent properties from the project, he said. Deputy Prime Minister Le Van Ton has asked authorities to complete the construction of Long Thanh International Airport by 2025. Deputy PM Ton set the deadline during an online meeting held on Monday on Long Thanh International Airport, a key national project worth $5 billion. The meeting focused on the project's site clearance and construction progress. Foreign trade by of Ho Chi Minh City-based enterprises showed clear signs of recovery in October, increasing by 25.8% from the previous month to $11.7 billion, according to the Customs Department. Exports rose by 4.7% to $4.4 billion, and imports by 48.9% to $7.3 billion. The main export items were computers, electronic components, high-tech equipment, textiles, footwear, fisheries, and agricultural products. Upon addressing a recent press conference of the Ho Chi Minh City Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control, Nguyen T. Kim Nok, Deputy Director of the Municipal Department of Industry and Trade, noted that as of November 1st, more than 1,340 enterprises with 216,000 workers at industrial parks and export processing zones have registered to resume operation, reaching 95% of capacity. Furthermore, 145,000 employees from all enterprises based in high-tech zones, or 84%, came back, while 6,500 enterprises outside of industrial parks and export processing zones returned to work. The Ho Chi Minh City Department of Industry and Trade said it will offer a credit support package worth VND $70 trillion, $3.07 billion this year to help businesses access preferential loans to restore production. The banking sector will provide credit to businesses at supportive interest rates this quarter, according to the State Bank of Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City branch. In October, industrial production activity recovered well compared to the previous month, and the Index of Industrial Production, IIP, was estimated to increase by 23.6% compared to the previous month. However, the IIP has not yet reached the level of the same period in 2020.